Okay, so I really appreciate this comment because it ties in with the video I made earlier. So, a little backstory to that, I started creating content. First of all, I was only writing in the beginning in my Facebook days. And then later, I started making Facebook Lives. And in 2015-16, I really started making videos more frequently on Facebook, then later Instagram, then TikTok, and then YouTube, and everything in between. Then I've been on a few panels, and I've been asked this question quite a lot. So, mind you, when I started having like real access, I should say, to the internet was in 2008, 2009, shortly before my first son was born. And then there were Facebook groups, right? And there were many Facebook groups where white women with black partners were like kind of changing ideas on how to make children's hair and everything. So I thought I could benefit from those groups because, it's always good to talk to people that are in or that think like you, that are like-minded, you can exchange with, you can gain knowledge from. Okay, so especially because I was like, I never want to be like neglectful of my child's hair because clearly I had no idea how to make black hair, afro hair. So then I was in these groups, and of course there were also black women in these groups. So every now and then, clearly, of course, the topic of racism came about, and I was a firm defender of the fact. Excuse me, what do you mean racist? You know my husband is black, right? I can't be racist. I love a black man. And then black women clocked me quickly. They clocked me. And then there was also a white woman among. I still have contact with her today. That was like, you are so embarrassing. You should be so fucking embarrassed. And I saw these points that I'm making today in myself then. Because when the black women told me, I was like, oh, you're only saying this because, you're black and I'm white. But when the white woman said it, I now was like, wait, this woman is saying the exact same thing that black women have been telling me. Why is she doing that? Then I was listening. I listened more and more to black people. I was, then it wasn't as prominent as it is today. And today I know that listening to a white woman and her repeating what black women have been saying was one of the most racist things I did. So, but for me, that was a trigger point that I was like, this woman has nothing to gain. Why is she telling me this kind of things? So I was like, something must be wrong. So I spoke to my friends. I was reading blogs, I was reading internet articles. I was researching. Then I came across a book, and the book is called They Were Here Before Columbus. And there were a series of other books, also The Miseducation of the Negro. So I read those books and I was like, wow. So if you bring it all the way down, if you go to the root of it, of course it was because my husband is black, my child is going to be black. So I was like, if I'm harmful in any way, I need to know. I need to work on that before it's too late, because I don't have any relationship with my mother. I had never had a good relationship with my mother, and I do not want to be in a situation where my child associates me with pain or with trauma or anything in between. I started researching, started following black creators, having actual conversations in real life. And I was like, it was like an awakening. I was like, oh my God, so this is what it is? This is how it is? And then I was like, nah, I will never be quiet. You cannot catch me be quiet, because that cannot happen. And that is why I deeply know anytime a white person talks, another white person will listen, because we are systemically and historically used to not listening to black people. So that is why when black people teach me something, I just repeat it. And that's like the bare minimum. That's the lowest of lowest I can do. But it does something, because sometimes the hierarchy is not there. A white woman is not going to look at me, or a white person is not going to look at me like, oh, you just hate white people. I mean, some do that, but there's no hierarchy involved. Why would I be telling you that we are inherently racist? I have nothing to gain from that. you know? So, so yeah, it did start. Of course, that is why I said in my video, I used to think like that 10 years back. I used to think, oh, I have to know about racism because of my children. But now I know I have to know about racism because I'm human and every other human deserves to be treated like a human because it's human decency. And I don't want nobody to suffer. So it has now, of course, I still want the world to be a better place for my children, clearly. And of course, I want to be able to do their hair, understand their living realities, celebrate their blackness, give them access to empowerment, etc., etc. I want to be like their harbor, you know, but I can't be their harbor if I don't have black women with me to give me the knowledge, their ancestral knowledge, to give that empowerment to my children through the hands and work and labor of black women. So my motivation absolutely is I want equity. I want equity for black people, no matter what it takes. Sometimes people ask me, oh, what if it gets to a point where you have to decide? Or where it gets to a point where black people are like, oh, all white people are going. What do you want me to do? I didn't choose this, but I'm going to die anyway. So I might as well die for a good cause, right? So I don't really bother about that.